Yeah, so I would like to speak today about how to still use features in C++ development and not be afraid of this, not worry about that. My answer for this is simple. Just not use SSD features, use Asynqro library. So let's see an example with usual SSD features. So it's just a simple function that returns some SSD feature that was created from SSD async. We like to use this function. We just call it, and we don't store our future. Oops, we're just waiting for this async to finish. Okay, we want to check for some errors. We need to do some try-catch stuff. Okay, it's 2019, we don't want to do any exception stuff for logic errors. We want to transform value in our future. Okay, there is no real way for now to do that. There is then a continuation in next standard, I believe, but for now you don't have anything. So your only way is to wait for it and transform the value, or do it in async if you want it asynchronous. Or if you want to do it multiple calls, like 10,000 to 1 million, 10 million calls, you're probably not going to run this because it will just create a lot of threads and it will just freeze your computer. Okay, let's see the same examples but with asynchro features. So the calling function is pretty the same. You do asynchro tasks run, pass the callback, everything is good. So we just call it and we forget about the future, we are good. We don't care. If we want to check for errors, we just add get a callback on failure and it gives you your failure in this callback if it happens. If not, it never will get called. For transforming, we just call map. Again, that's much better than SSD async. And if we want to call it 100,000 times or as many as we can still do that because behind this there is a thread pool with task scheduler that just will schedule and schedule and schedule until they are all completed. So here is a big example of what can be done with this. So I'm just gonna read it from top to bottom, and you'll see it's pretty the same as a plain English language. So what we're doing is we authenticate some user with username and password. We try if it didn't go through, we're trying to recover that. We're trying to connect to some proxy and authenticate again. If everything's fine, we just collect more data. In this case, we collect full user data. We also collect books for his student that he took from a library. And also, for these books, we fetch every book by its ID somewhere in the background. We also fetch some suggestions. In 2019, we want to give some suggestions for a student. And we also filter it by his age, because we don't want to give him something that's not supposed for him to be read. And if everything's fine, if all of them went properly, only in this case, we return that everything is good, we return true. If anything of that failed, we will just not doing anything of that, we'll just go to on failure. So here is pretty the same code, but written with STD future. So it's like 28 lines versus 78 lines. It doesn't create any extra threads you don't need for all this STD async to do all these background transformations. There is really less to none room for error. Like all you did is just plain English. And also you don't create. So yeah, and also if there was like a lot of books for the student, like it was a good student, he took 1,000 books, you wouldn't create 1,000 threads to just fetch all these books by ID. So this library is available on GitHub. It's licensed by BSD free, so everybody can check it, and if they want, they can use it without zero to none obligations. Thank you.